Alright, Sumeru Craftable Weapon official information is finally here, guys. Now, craftable weapons are technically the only real source of free-to-play 4-star weapon that our free-to-play player gets to have. Other than that, we do have a couple of really good event 4-star weapon here and there, but not a lot. Most of them is usually locked behind lucky gacha pools. So having really good craftable weapons would benefit us a lot. In which in this video, we'll just have a look into how good our Sumeru Craftable weapons are and help you have a decision to whether or not you should spend your weapon billets and craft these weapons. Now guys, we all know that Primos GA is just a very important source in the game, which is why in collaboration with SuperaTom, we're doing a 6,480 Primos GA pack giveaways once Tainari banners drop. So if you want to have a chance to successfully pull for the character you want during patch 3.0 or just save up for Nilu, Candice or Sino in patch 3.1, you will have a chance to do that as well. Now be sure to subscribe to my channel and join my Discord server where I will be holding the giveaway. Link to Discord down in the description, guys. And with that, let's just jump into the video. Alright, so first off we have our sword Sapwood blade. You get a 565 base attack with 30% energy recharge as base stat, which isn't too bad for a free 4-star weapon. This base attack stats here isn't on the lower end, but it's actually on the highest end of all the 4-star weapons and actually touching the 5-star weapon base attack right here. And what the passive does is that basically every time you trigger a dendro reactions, there will be a leaf that drops on the field, and when a character pick up this leaf, they will have a 60 EM increase for 12 seconds. Now only one leaf can be created once every 20 seconds, so technically it's a 8-second cooldown. So first, looking at 60 EM isn't really too much, but if you do have the option to refine the weapon, you'll be touching around 120 EM uptime for a 12-second for your character, which isn't too bad. However, you know, refining to a 5-star weapon does take quite a lot of weapon billets, so do keep that in mind before going all in into that. Now looking at this weapon, due to the base attack of it being very high, this is going to be if not the best free-to-play option for Bennett since the start of the game, because Bennett does benefit from energy recharge secondary stats, plus having the weapon base attack to 565 is really good for him. Not only that, with good passive of supporting your team with elemental mastery, this is a really beneficial sword for a lot of support character out there, not just Bennett. It can also be a fine option for Kazuha as well, though Iron Sting will technically be better if you're focusing on having him boosting a lot more elemental damage for the team. Now since the leaf can be dropped and picked by any character, you can theoretically put it on any support character that do need energy recharge. So overall, this weapon isn't too bad, or I would say this is one of the better free-to-play support option out there that we have until now. And then we have our Claymore. This is actually same as the sword, can also be used by any support character, though the leaf buff that boosts your EM for the team can't stack, so generally only one leaf is needed on the field, or you only need one of these weapons, either the sword or the claymore held on your team. It can also be a good option for claymore sub DPS character like Beta, who is built around the Emblem Fate set, so she does run with a lot of energy recharge during that, and this claymore gives her just that. So we do have a few options here and there when running with this claymore. Next we have our Moonpiercer, a very good name for a polearm. Now when I had a look through this weapon, I just had to say wow, it's actually a pretty good weapon, as that it gives you quite a lot of EM for a 4-star weapon, which is 110, plus a decent base attack of 565. Moreover, its passive works similarly to sword and claymore, with the leaf being dropped as well, but this time around it increases your attack by 16% for 12 seconds with an 8-second cooldown. Looking at this, if you do get the weapon to around R3, then you get around 24% attack increase, which isn't too bad. Plus it doesn't have to be the character that's actually holding the weapon, but any character on your team can have the buff as long as they do pick up the leaf. This effect, guys, is kind of different from the sword and claymore, so it can still work if you are holding a sword or a claymore on your team which buff EM. Our polearm here only buff attack percentage, so you can still have have 2 of these weapons running on your team. I say for now this is going to be a very good option for Xiangling, though we already have the catch, which is one of her best options out there. But if you already have, for example, the catch onto your Raiden or something and you're missing out on your Xiangling, then this is going to be a very good place for it to be used. Not to mention later on I believe Sino is going to be using it as well. He is going to be a polearm character, and usually electro character do run a lot with EMs as well, so this most likely going to be a free-to-play option for Sino. Next we have our bow, the King Squire, a weapon for DPS only, so it's generally harder to use. It gives you a lower base attack of 454, but you're getting a 55% attack increase for the secondary stats. What the passive gives you is that whenever you unleash your skill or burst, you're getting a 60 EM increase. However, this effect will be removed once you switch the character. When you switch your character, or when the duration of this stacks ends, it will deal 100% of attack as damage to one nearby opponent. So there's not going to be an AoE explosion right here, which is kinda sucks. This will basically a free-to-play option for Tighnari, because you do have an EM increase, and Tighnari is going to be a character that is going to be on field most of the time, so you do get the buff. And also the refinement for this weapon isn't too bad as well. You're getting up to 140 EM at R5. However, we do have quite a lot of free-to-play options for bow. Up until now, we do have the Inazuma bow or our Mondstadt bow, which are both really good weapon. But if you're focusing on Tighnari build, for example, then this would be the best out of all, as you are getting an EM increase. This can also technically work for a Ganyu main DPS reaction team. Like if you're running a Melt Ganyu, she would definitely be working very well with this. I say this is going to be a better option for Ganyu more than the Prototype Crescent and the Hamayumi, because the EM increase you're getting from this weapon is quite consistent. And then we have the Catalyst, the Fruits of Fulfillment. You're getting a 510 base attack with a pretty good energy recharge of 46%. What this does is that after you get an elemental reaction triggered, you're getting a 24 EM increase while losing 5% attack, and you get a maximum of 5 stack, which technically is going to be getting you 120 EM if you get maximum stack, which is very easy because elemental reaction with Catalyst is basically always, unless you're running in a mono team, and then you lose H stacks every 6 seconds without elemental reaction being triggered, which I would say a pretty long window for H stacks to stay on. Plus, this can be triggered while your character is off field. So at first this might not seem to be that good of a weapon because you're like losing 25% of your attack. However, if we stay back and look closely, this probably is one of the best free-to-play craftable weapon we have until now, because the only catch with this weapon is the 25 attack decrease. But what if you're using this weapon on a character that do not require attack increase? You're going to be getting a full whopping 120 EM increase for your character while being off field as well, guys. Not to mention, if you get this to R5, you're getting basically a free 180 EM increase, which is insane. So right now, I believe there aren't too many characters that can make use of this weapon. The character right now that I find that can make the best use would be a sub DPS Kokomi or even a DPS Kokomi, where she doesn't worry about attack stats, so she scales mostly with HP. Since the weapon can be triggered off field, her jellyfish is going to be the best source to activate because she can have 100% uptime for her E skill to deal reaction damage. Now obviously the Catalyst is also aimed for later Sumeru character as well, which may very well be scaling purely with EM only, which in that case will make this Catalyst be a BIS free-to-play option for many of that character. Even right now, character like Sucrose can also make use of it, but of course she does have better option right now like Sack Catalyst, so it's not fully usable on Sucrose. However, overall this weapon is really good. Okay, so we've just gone through all of the 4-star Sumeru craftable weapons. Now the question goes is that would they be worth it overall for you to invest in the weapon? In which generally it comes down to how lack of a weapon you're currently having, since these weapons I feel are adding to the quality of life to the character weapon options. It's not too different from the many options that we already have up until now, if you kind of get what I mean, as most characters till this point in time already have a certain BIS option that they can use. So if you're really lacking in weapon, these Sumeru weapons I would say are better than many of the craftable options we have till this point. Like our King Squire bow for DPS bow character is really good. The sword and claymore works similarly and works very well with support character, as well as the catalyst can be the best option that many can run with your DPS catalyst that don't use attack percentage until now, and I believe, who knows, that might go for Kusanali or Dendro Archon later on in the game. So guys, at the end of the day, the decision for you to craft these weapons of yours is going to be on your choice. I hope that this video have gone through and helped you make the better decision to use your weapon billet wisely, because I know sometimes it is pretty hard for you to come across weapon billets. Sumeru is right around the corner, guys, and if you're still having trouble deciding which character to pull for in patch 3.0, I believe that this video of mine here, where I go through all character details and provide my opinion on which is going to be the best character for you to go for, be sure to check it out, as I am sure it will be helping you a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video, and with that, I wish you a super day, and I will catch you on the next video.